Welcome to I'm Too Busy, an interview-based show hosted by a talented makeup artist, Christina Black. Christina offers viewers a unique blend of personal stories, inspiring journeys, and practical beauty tips. Join the conversation as Christina features successful individuals from various industries who share their insights on health, wellness, makeup, and the keys to their success. So now, please welcome the host of I'm Too Busy, Christina Black.
Hello, welcome to I'm Too Busy TV, the show where I chat with successful people about how they manage their jam-packed schedules. Today we have a very special guest, one of my favorite people in the world, Jim Petersen. He's a former NBA player, and currently he is a TV analyst for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he is also the godfather of my oldest daughter, Melania. Jim has had an impressive career with his time as a player and now as a coach in the WNBA. But despite all his busy schedule, he's found ways to balance his professional commitments with his personal life. So we are going to introduce Jim Petersen.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, Christina?
Oh my, okay, let's just start with that. When do you ever call me my name? Can't call me my nickname on the show, right?
Borski, Mama, you're a lot of things to me. We've known each other
I'm
for a long time.
100 years.
I've known you since 1989, 90, in there somewhere. So it's been 30 plus years. So it's been a long time, and you are one of the loves of my life, truly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I gave you my firstborn child. You're her godfather.
Yeah, she's again, you like your family to me, and your kids are just amazing. You're such a great mom, and I was there through all the chaos, like when they were little, having babies, and you cooking and holding a baby and cleaning and
big and pregnant.
Yeah, you are truly an amazing woman who keeps on trucking through everything and keep on reinventing yourself. And look how beautiful you still are. Like after all these years, you haven't aged a bit. You're like my wife. I mean, like you're some kind of like Vulcan or something. You guys never age. You never age.
It's the brown, because we're brown.
Yeah.
Jim's wife, Tika, is one of my best friends, and I adore her, and your son. And so anyway, I want to dive into Jim Petersen because I know everything about you, but I think we should chat a little bit about you. So you've had this incredible career. You were, an amazing basketball player. You were in college, you turned pro, then you retired. You've had all these incredible experiences. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got there?
Well, it's pretty amazing. I think that, when you're a kid growing up and you're, dreaming that you want to play a professional sport. And, of course, being from Minnesota, I grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan and a Minnesota Twins fan. There was no NBA team in our market when I was growing up, but I still really wanted to be a player. My dad was 6'10" back in 1951. So, and he was an excellent player himself. So, I used to look at my dad's scrapbook, and that kind of is what motivated me. My dad was a high school All-American from Minnesota back in 1951. In fact, he played in the North-South All-American game. And so like his accolades were pretty big. And so he was someone that I really admired from a young age. And so when I made it into college basketball, I was a high school All-American myself. I was the first McDonald's All-American from Minnesota, playing at the University of Minnesota, then making it into the pros, drafted in the Michael Jordan draft of 1984, playing with hakeem olajuwon with the Houston Rockets, and just really living a lifelong dream of playing in the league. So I played for Houston, Sacramento, Golden State, and that's when I met you when I was playing for the Warriors.
Right.
Chris Mullen was my great friend playing with the Warriors. And we used to go to Brad Gilbert, the great tennis player. Brad Gilbert used to always have a New Year's Eve party. And so we would go, all the Warriors players would go from Oakland over the Bay Bridge and get into Marin County. And we would go to Brad's party. And so your husband at the time, Mitchell Friedman, was like best friends with Brad, and that's where we met. We met at the New Year's Eve party when I was
That's
playing for the
true.
Golden State Warriors. But
That is true.
the main thing though, Christina, and you and I were kind of talking about this off air, is that one of the most difficult times of my life was when I retired from the NBA, and I had to sort of redefine myself. I had to my whole identity was wrapped up in being a professional basketball player. I'm 6'10", so when people see me, they go, "Do you play basketball?" And of course, that's the kind of like the basic question that anybody asks when they see somebody of my stature. And so for all these years, I was able to say, "Yes, I do play basketball. I play in the NBA." "Oh, really? Like, who do you play for?" And then it was like, oh, this whole thing, and you get your whole identity wrapped up in being this thing that people admire, and then when it's over, it's just like now you're kind of searching for that next thing. And so that was a difficult transition for me. And so I really learned a lot about compassion for, and it's not just professional athletes, because it's all athletes. I've talked to a lot of athletes about this in the past. It's also with like military people as well. Military people are so regimented, much like athletes are, in terms of their schedule and where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. The chain of command is very, like, it's evident. Like, you've got higher ups and you've got coaches, and it's kind of the same thing. And when you get out of the military, they have a lot of the same identity issues that athletes do when they finish playing. And so I had to find that next thing. And you want to know something? One of the next things that I found, I was asked by a friend of mine to coach her girls' 7th grade basketball team.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, I'm going, like, I just literally retired. I'm living down
famous. Hello.
Yeah, I'm like,
And I'm coaching
so
7th grade girls.
a really good friend of mine in San Diego asked me to coach her 7th grade girls basketball team, and I was like, I don't know. So I really didn't want to do it, but I ended up saying yes. And so I took this girls basketball team, and I ended up coaching them up, and we ended up winning the city championship. And I have to tell you that when I took this group of girls and coached them up and they won the city championship, it was one of the most exhilarating things to see the looks on their faces. And the fact that I took this like raw group of kids and made them into a good basketball team it was a great realization for me that helped me realize that really winning on any level is still as special as it was in the NBA. So when I won a Big Ten championship as a college player, when we went to the NBA finals, when I was with the Houston Rockets, and when I won that 7th grade girls basketball team championship in San Diego, Christina, it was the same. And so,
wow.
So you mentioned my coaching career. When I was offered an opportunity to coach the Minnesota Lynx and to be a WNBA coach, at the same time, I'm broadcasting for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I'm a broadcaster for the Timberwolves during the NBA season, and then I became a women's basketball coach in the offseason. And so there were a lot of people that said, "Are you crazy? Why would you want to coach in the WNBA? Why would you want to go coach women's basketball? You're a broadcaster. Why do you need to do that?" And so I just, you know what, my experience of coaching those 7th grade girls, saying yes to that, made me say yes.
And that was the question we talked about.
Yes.
Like,
so
saying yes has changed your life.
Saying yes. And so I said yes to coaching the WNBA. And you know what happened? I ended up winning 3 championships in the WNBA. We went to the White House 3 times. I got to shake the president's hand 3 times. And I got to coach Maya Moore, who's one of the greatest players of all time, Lindsay Whalen. I coached 5 Hall of Fame players, and I coached with a Hall of Fame coach. And so it just brings me back to, did you ever see the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey?
Yes, that's a great film. I love that one.
If you have not
It
seen
really is.
If you've not seen Yes Man, I highly suggest you go see that movie, because I think so many people, especially when you start talking about time management, Christina, I think that this podcast and what you're about, I think you're trying to maximize people's time. And I think that so many people are told to say no to things. You got to start saying no. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be judicious about what you say yes to. And I'm not saying you should say yes to everything. But I was telling you this, all the great things I have in my life are because I said yes to situations that were not seemingly the best opportunity. And so I think that's been one of the keys to my success. It's certainly the key to my professional success. And I think it's for sure one of the big keys to my personal success, saying yes to my wife. I mean, when I met my wife, Tika, she's a divorced mother with a 4-year-old child. And how many guys would say yes to that situation? So I know I did, and it's been one of the best decisions I ever made. I adore my wife. I adore my stepson, Sanjay, and he's not my stepson. I raised him. He's my son. You know him.
He is your, that's your kid.
Yeah, he's my son.
Tika and I make jokes all the time that, you had that baby with yourself.
Yeah,
it's your baby. Let me brag about my nephew for a few minutes. He's an incredible golfer. He was an incredible basketball player at Northwestern. He played in the G League. He played in Europe. He coached in Utah. And now he is an assistant coach in Atlanta. And we are also proud of him. And you must be over the moon proud of your son.
Well, so, it's just, just to talking about ethnicities. I mean, it's an incredibly unique situation because my wife, Tika, is the daughter of an immigrant father. Her dad is from India, came to the United States back in the late 50s, early 60s from India. And then he met his wife, Lynn, Tika's mother. She's from Wisconsin. And so Tika's mixed. Her first husband is a fantastic guy by the name of Sean Lumpkin. And Sean is Black, and he's like this great guy, played strong safety for the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Gophers, great athlete. So Sanjay is a mixture of all these ethnicities. He's white, Indian, Black. He's
all the things.
He's this beautiful kid, right? And so when I met Tika, Sanjay was 4, and he was literally the cutest little boy I've ever seen in my entire life. And he is the love of my life. And so when I met Tika, I swear to God, we joke about this all the time. I think I married Tika as much for her as I did for Sanjay.
That's our other joke we say.
Yeah, I mean,
Ben used to say that about me when Ken and I got married. He's like, "Mommy, Daddy only married you to get me."
That's really true.
And Uncle Jim only married Aunt Tika to get Sanjay. So I guess it's a family tradition we have.
I mean, he's just the love. Sanjay's just the love of my life, and I'm so lucky to have found these things, and it's all because I said yes. And
I love that. And I think that's important. We have to sometimes get comfortable being uncomfortable, but great things happen from when we do say yes. So let's just change a little bit the subject. You played for Don Nelson when you were with the Warriors. How would his style work today? And how would you compare him to today's coaches? Nelly?
Nelly was a really interesting guy. He was a difficult guy to play for because he was very demanding, which sometimes isn't always easy. But I see the method in his madness now as an adult and as a coach myself. I think that I played for a coach. I worked with a coach with the Minnesota Lynx, Cheryl Reeve, who's now the current Olympic basketball coach for Team USA. And Cheryl is a 4-time WNBA champion as a coach and 3-time gold medal winner as a coach as well. She's very demanding. And so I know that when you deal with demanding coaches, they can strike fear in your heart. And so that's not always fun to play for. But I think that somebody that is driving you to get something out of you that you wouldn't necessarily give. And so the question is better to be feared or loved? And so I know that there are coaches that are able to maximize talent by giving players love, but I think that's more difficult. And so I think that by being demanding, by asking players to do things they aren't comfortable doing, it's important to be demanding. I think it's important to be not worry about if you're loved or not. And so sometimes that's what it takes. And so Nelly was tough. He was a hard driver, but I got to tell you, he was one of the most innovative coaches, so creative. So willing to go and think out of the box. One of the most innovative coaches in the history of the NBA. He certainly is one of the winningest coaches. And so I think Nelly's coaching techniques and style would stand the test of time. I think he could very
They're
easily coach
timeless.
today. I think he could very easily coach today. He was doing, Christina, when I was playing for the Golden State Warriors, I played in the Run TMC era. Tim Hardaway, Mitch
Yeah.
Richmond, Chris Mullin,
Yeah.
TMC. And Nelly was so innovative. We were doing stuff back in the early 90s that they're doing now in the NBA. And so I really have to say, I'm very grateful to Don Nelson for all that he taught me about the game, especially as it came when it comes to like adjusting in game, because there's a lot of coaches that are good, like practice coaches, or they're good after the game, kind of diagnosing the situation. But one of the most difficult things to do in coaching is to, in the game, while you're playing the game, to figure out what's happening in the game and make an adjustment in the game. And that's where Nelly was so good. He was just so innovative and ahead of his time. So I'm very grateful for my time playing for the Golden State Warriors.
Jim, we're going to continue chatting about all these amazing things when we come back from our first commercial break. I'm Christina Flack, and I'm too busy.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hello, welcome back to I'm Too Busy. We are chatting today with Jim Petersen about all things basketball and NBA. So I've heard that there were 2 Don Nelsons. The one who jokes on TV and interviews, and then there's the coach that runs practices behind closed doors. What was the thing that you got most from having that experience of him being your coach?
Well, I mean, Nelly was kind of like a folk hero. Like he was kind of larger than life a little bit, because I mean, come on, like he had a dog named Goldie who he brought to practice. Is this golden retriever? It was a golden retriever named Goldie, and playing for the Golden State Warriors. It's like, and Nelly kind of did things in a calculated way. It seemingly, and he always had a great relationship with the media. He always George Shirk, who was the beat writer for the Chronicle. Chronicle, yeah, and he would take all the writers out and have beers with them and drink with them and like have fun. Like, so I don't think any of those guys ever wrote a single nasty article about Nelly, because like Nelly had them in his hip pocket, and rightly so. Nelly was a larger than life personality, and he was a great guy like that. But he was a tough coach. I mean, he did not like to lose, and his innovative coaching style was evident with the personnel that he put together. And, you and I were talking about Run TMC. I mean, drafting Tim Hardaway out of UTEP, and Tim Hardaway was from Chicago. And this dude was so confident right out of the box. So my first year with the Warriors was Tim Hardaway's rookie year. And
Oh,
so
wow.
he clicked like that. So when I got to Golden State, Mitch Richmond had already been there, already been a rookie of the year candidate. And Chris Mullin was a veteran player who was fantastic, already established himself. And the three of those guys just clicked right away. And Nelly knew exactly what to do to maximize their abilities. And so Run TMC was born, and it didn't last long. It was like really kind of a magical, like 2 seasons, but really just one of when they figured out what Run TMC really was. And that was the 1990-91 season. And then the Warriors traded Mitch to Sacramento in
Right.
91, and this kind of was kind of over. But yeah, it was that was one of the most tight knit teams I had ever been on. Our friend Tom Tolbert, who does a great job on KNBR.
Right.
This is Tom's 28th year coming up broadcasting on KNBR. Can you believe that?
I can't. And I've been listening to him for years, and he always makes jokes that I'm like the only female listener he has. And he's like, "What is wrong with you? Like it's all these dudes." But I love listening to him.
Yeah, he's
With him, and remember when he was with Ralph Barbieri for
Ralph
years.
Barbieri for years. So it was Tim, Mitch, Chris, Rod Higgins, Alton Lister,
Alton.
Tom Tolbert. I mean, it was just like this great group of people. Kevin Pritchard was on that team, who now currently runs the Indiana Pacers. There were a lot of super talented people, but it's one of my best memories of my life of playing on that team with that group of guys, with Don Nelson as the coach and Gary St. Jean as the assistant. It was just a magical time to be in the Bay Area.
It really was. What was the one thing he demanded most as a coach? I mean, there's a reason why he retired, the NBA's all-time winningest coach.
You know what? Nelly loved offense. He wanted to be able to score. And so he loved guys that could put the ball in the hoop. And so we had so much fun with Manute Bol. Like Manute Bol was like, this 7'7" Sudanese basketball player who was this incredible shot blocker. And Nelly was so innovative and so Nelly was the first one to really kind of spread the floor and play like this 5-out system. And at that time in the 90s, the Chicago Bulls were, that's Michael Jordan's first run in that era. And they're winning with the triangle offense and all this like really super structured half court offense, where Nelly was just like, let's just get 5 guys out of the perimeter and let's just pass and cut and move the ball and have fun and run and gun and let's play free and loose. And he just really wanted to score. Like that's the main thing. Like he wanted to have fun, he wanted to score, and he wanted to win. And so like he just wanted guys locked in, ready to play. And that every coach kind of wants that, but he really created a super fun environment to perform. And I think it's one of the things that Warrior fans remember most about Nelly is just super fun basketball. That was great to watch.
Right. It was a good time. So even before when you were on the Warriors, what was it like playing with Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson, 2 more Hall of Famers? What did you learn most from them?
Well, I played one-on-one against Hakeem Olajuwon every day for 4 years. I played one-on-one against him. I learned all of his moves. I learned. And so like when I got traded from Houston and went someplace else, I didn't mind guarding him because I guarded him so much. Like he struck fear in the hearts of so many people because he was so dominant in the painted area with his ability to score the basketball. I was not intimidated, but I learned a lot from him. I owe him a lot because he taught me how to be a pro. Like we were 2 rookies coming into the league together, but he was like this superstar player. He was, to me, on the same level as Michael Jordan. I don't think Hakeem Olajuwon gets enough credit for being as great as he was. I think a lot of people talk about, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Moses Malone and all these great centers, Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson. But like to me, Hakeem Olajuwon is is the greatest center of all time for me, just because he did it on both ends. He was this tremendous defensive player. He was unstoppable offensively. He was this great mixture of offense and defense that was Jordan-esque in a lot of ways. And I don't think he gets nearly enough credit as he should as being as great as he was.
That's so interesting. What do you think the potential is of Victor Wembanyama? He's 7'4", dribbles like a guard, shoots long range, and dominates inside.
Well, and that's the thing, it's like, when we talk about these great players, the names I just mentioned before played in an era where the ball was centered around the big men, like the centers and power forwards of the NBA. That's where the ball was focused. Everything was in the paint. And so now the game is so different. And Victor Wembanyama is the sort of culmination of the transformation of basketball to what it is now, where you've got someone that is so incredibly tall and athletic. And what is Victor? He's like 6'4" or 5, whatever, 6 foot.
7'4".
7'4". He's as tall as Ralph Sampson was. Ralph Sampson was really ahead of his time as well. You mentioned him. He was my teammate in Houston. Ralph doesn't get enough credit for being as great as he was too back in the 80s and 90s. But Victor Wembanyama is going to be, I think he's going to be one of the greatest of all time, because he has the ability to has the size of Ralph Sampson, but the abilities of Kevin Durant, which makes him so singularly unique in his ability to dribble, pass, and shoot. So he's going to be the next big deal when he grows into his body, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Hopefully he has durability and that he can be able to, withstand the test of time. But if he can do that, Christina, I think that you're looking at probably potentially one of the guys that could be one of the greatest 2 or 3 players in league history. Wow,
that's amazing. So I know as a player, you would watch film on your opponents to prepare yourself for the game ahead. Do you do the same what's your preparing situation? What do you do to prepare for your Timberwolves commentating?
Well, I mean,
is it the same or is it different? Like as a player, a coach, and a commentator?
It's one of the things. So when you ask me, you start talking about time management and how it is that I maximize my time preparing for my job. I mean, that's really the thing. Like, not everybody's willing to do the same thing that it takes to be great. So, whether it's nutrition or fitness or being a mother or father or being a professional at your job, how much time are you willing to put into it? And so, and what drives you? And so for me, I'm just super competitive and I want to be the best at whatever I do. So I'm willing to put the time in, I'm willing to grind, and I'm also willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. So I'm willing to
work. Like what would that be?
Well, I'm willing to work when other people are wanting to go to the party, so I'm willing to get up early and stay late. I was the first one to practice and the last one to leave. So I'm willing, I just wanted it for myself. It's one of the ways that I made it in the first place, is that I was willing to learn, first of all, what the tools it takes to be successful are and what the game is, and then willing to execute it. So one of the things that I've been really good at in my career is that I've been willing to do the hard things first. Like there's so many people that procrastinate and wait to do the hard stuff. They put it off. And so I know that in order for me to be successful, I do the hard stuff first. I do the things that I'm avoiding. And so I'm really good and honest with myself, and I'm saying, what am I avoiding? And so then I go, that's what I want to do first. And so when you talk about watching film, it's not always fun to do that. But when I prepare for an NBA game, even when the Timberwolves were losing and they would only have 13 wins in a season. I mean, you play 82 games and you only win 13 games. That's
it's excruciating.
But I've got a stack of Emmy awards down in my lower level. I've won 10 Emmy awards in broadcasting.
That's amazing.
And it's because I was willing to, because broadcasting on television is really about entertainment as much as it is about, being informative, but you've got to be entertaining. And so so I would really study the other team. And so I'm doing what I did when I was a coach. I'm watching 3 and 4 games of the opponent, so I really know their team. So when I'm speaking on television, I'm speaking as an authority. But I'm also like having fun with it too. Like it just is. It's just super important to kind of, I think, be willing to grind and do and go the extra mile. And so that's just always something I've been willing to do.
That's amazing. So, what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into this profession? Like, how much time does it take you to prepare for a game? Like, how much typically do you spend getting ready? Because I know that Tika and I have been trying to drag you to lunch or do something fun. You're like, skedaddle you two. I need to focus on this.
Yeah, no, I don't skimp on my prep work. I have to go through my process, and I've got my stat sheet that I have to prepare. I got a minimum of 3 games that I have to watch, and there's, I mean, NBA games are 2 hours long, so I can get through them. I have edited versions of the game where I can get through a 2-hour game in an hour and a half probably. But so you still got you got to watch the games. I mean, so.
And you're taking notes the whole time, I'm assuming.
I'm just, it's at this point, I've been doing it for so long. I mean, this is going to be my 27th year broadcasting. So there are shortcuts that I have been able to, sort of deploy into my preparation. But in terms of how to get into it, from my perspective, like it's very difficult to tell somebody how to get in it from my position, is because you have to have played or coached.
Right.
You have to do one or the other. So my skill set is very particular. I think that for someone that's getting into media in general, into play-by-play, and all these great play-by-play guys that are in sports, like they have a craft and they've studied it. They've gone to college, first of all, and maybe studied broadcasting. And so one thing that I would say, like for a young person trying to get into broadcasting, is to start in high school and get reps.
Right.
There's public access television that they're looking for people to come and do games. And you should really, I say you have to get reps, and it doesn't matter what sport you do. You can do any sport. Just start calling games and just start getting into it and doing it. You have to do it. And there's all different ways that you can get into it, but you just got to say yes.
You have to say yes. It starts with saying yes.
You've got to start saying yes, and it doesn't matter where it's at what level it's at. Just say yes.
We are going to continue our conversation with the great Jim Petersen in 2 minutes. I'm Christina Flack, and I'm too busy.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and TuneIn Radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. We discover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Hello, welcome back to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flack with Jim Petersen. So let's look at the team you watch every game, the Timberwolves. We've seen they're committed to defense. Anthony Edwards is a show. You've got Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. You've got strong six-man in Naz Reid. What will be the difference maker with the Timberwolves improving on a 56-26 season and hosting the playoffs throughout?
Look at you doing your deep dive into the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm so
you like that?
I'm so proud of you. Seriously, you just nailed it right there. You forgot about our great coach, Chris Finch, who is...
Hey, you're right, I did about him.
Who's the linchpin. He's also, I really kind of feel like the ladies here in Minnesota like find him kind of dreamy too. He's got this great head of hair.
Oh, really?
He's got this...
Is he McDreamy?
He's got these glasses that he wears that makes him look very professorial, and he's very witty, and he's got a great vocabulary. And by the way, he's also a fantastic basketball coach, and he's the reason why this team is so good. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is great, but man, I'm telling you, Chris Finch is just a breath of fresh air. He reminds me a lot of Don Nelson in terms of the way he innovates, but he's got this really great down-home sort of sensibility and the way that he deals with the media, deals with the players. Like, I get to go in and watch practice, and it's so great to see the command that he has of these guys and how much they love him. And I think the really important thing is that he's able to drive them so hard. It's kind of like Greg Popovich in San Antonio. One of the things that he's been able to do is that he's able to coach players very hard. He's like the quintessential, guy that sort of is dealt in like, is it better to be feared or loved? Like, I think people really fear Pop because he's fiery and he does not suffer fools, and he does not like poor execution. And at the same time, Pop is one of those guys who, when Pop is behind the scenes and he's calling players into his office and he gets to know guys, like, he really is one of these guys that has compassion for his guys. And so when you have this relationship, you're able to coach them hard. So when he's getting on guys on the floor and cursing them out, this is Chris Finch and Greg Popovich. He has this great relationship with guys where he builds rapport with them because he really deeply cares about them, and they know he does, so that when it's time to get on them on the court, he's able to coach everybody hard. Like Chris Finch will be as hard on Anthony Edwards as he will be on the last man on the team. And so these players know that Finchie's fair. And so it's the coach that doesn't invest in their players that can't coach hard. And so
that's true.
It's one of the things you really learn about leadership is how to build a strong team. It's really important for your teammates to know you care about them. And I think that's one of the big things I learned about Nelly is like Nelly was like that as well. So it's what drives our Minnesota Timberwolves team. Chris Finch's leadership, and then it's Anthony Edwards, his greatness, Karl Anthony Towns. We have so many great players on our team right now. I'm so excited for this team, and I'm so excited for this upcoming NBA season.
So you're feeling really confident about this coming season?
I'm feeling very good.
As long as I don't come to town. You know you lost 2 games in a row because I was there.
Yeah, you were there for
not
not
lost it all.
Yeah, you didn't come for a good game, but
I had a great time. I loved it.
We're not going to blame it on you, Christina. We're going to blame it on.
You kind of did, though.
Well, you've been at a lot of Warrior games, so you've been a good luck charm for the Golden State Warriors. You've been because they've been pretty good over the years.
That is true. So, what do you think about my other guy, Jaylen Brown, being overlooked in the Olympics? Because that's my guy.
Okay, so look, like you did a photo shoot with Jaylen Brown, so you met him when he was at Cal, correct?
Yeah. It was a week before he was drafted.
Okay, so it was before he was a
Yeah, I was
Boston.
with him for 2 days before he
Yeah,
got drafted.
so you really love him. Like you really got attached to him, and so
He's my baby.
you're really a little bit emotional about all of this, and it's kind of like the same thing with Caitlin Clark, right? I mean, there are people that feel like Caitlin Clark should have been on the women's Olympic team because she's transformed the WNBA and she's like this big name. And of course, she should be on the Olympic team. Why shouldn't she be? She's like this great. And
Yeah.
so, why shouldn't Jaylen Brown be on the men's team? He just won an NBA championship with the Boston Celtics. He's this great player. But these teams it takes 4 years basically to fashion an Olympic basketball team. Like Caitlin Clark wasn't in the league when this team was kind of being solidified, and she wasn't there 2 years ago when they played the World Championships, and she wasn't there last summer when they were putting in their Team USA and they were in the World Cup. So I mean, for Jaylen Brown to be on the team, he needed to be in the pipeline probably. I think that once these guys are done, like once Steph and Durant and LeBron, when these guys are gone, your boy is going to be in there, and he's going to be
Thank
having a
God.
long run for Team USA, Christina. You can count
Okay,
on
good.
that. I'm telling you.
So, what are your thoughts on? I asked Vern Glenn this 2 weeks ago, but I'd like to know what are your thoughts on Klay being, playing over in Dallas with Nikolai's guy Luca.
Well, look, I think that not every player can determine their fate when it comes to how their careers end, and I think that Klay could have stayed with the Warriors if he were willing to take less money, and because it's just ridiculous what the payrolls are right now. If Klay were willing to play for less, um, I think he could still finish his career with the Golden State Warriors. And I don't know what's going to happen with Steph Curry. I think Steph probably will finish with the Warriors, but there's a chance that he may not. He may want to move on and go to a contender at the end of his career. He doesn't want to sit there and be with a bottom feeder team. And I think the Warriors are far from bottom feeder at this juncture. I think they're still going to be pretty competitive. But for Klay Thompson, for him to move on and go to this particular situation, it's tailor-made for him. It's the perfect situation. All he's got to do is stay spotted up on the perimeter, and he's got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving with these two great big men that they have in the middle, setting screens for these guys. And all Klay has to do is stay spaced out, and it's going to be so great for him. I think that you're going to see a different Klay Thompson, and I think you're going to see a guy that's going to have a lot of fun in the Dallas Mavericks uniform.
Well, that's good. It's going to be interesting to see because I know it's going to be a big deal when he comes to town and plays against the Warriors.
For sure.
It's going to be a big game. So let's talk about some of your other passions in life. How is your golf game?
It's good. I mean, like golf is it's one of those psychological games that I don't think I've ever worked harder on something. If I were to bring you downstairs to my lower level, you'd see that I have a golf simulator in my lower level.
I've seen it.
I know you have, and
it's amazing.
Yeah, so I have a golf simulator in my house. I've never worked at something harder. I never wanted to be good at something more in my entire life. And I tell all these great golfers that I play with, golf is a weird sport because when you're really good at it, when you start sort of going in the other direction, when you start getting older and you're not as good as you were when you were younger, and let's just say you're shooting even par every round, you're scoring, you're 72. You're breaking 70 all the time. You're breaking into the 60s sometimes too. And all of a sudden you start shooting in the 80s. And so guys start hating that and they start quitting the game. I've never been that good. So like, I just have to take it for what it is. And so for me, it's a lesson in composure and
patience,
sort of,
don't you think?
It's how to have fun and give up your expectation of how you play. It's really a great way to sort of test your life skills of being able to have fun in the face of adversity. And so like to me, because like sometimes your body hurts and sometimes, I mean, it's just really a challenging sport, as you know, because your husband played, your ex-husband played, your kids play, your daughter played. I mean, you know, you've been around the game and you hear the frustrations of that game. But
Oh,
I tell you what, though, it's just it's the most social, greatest game. I can't imagine life without it.
it's true. I mean, what is Rose's famous quote? She says she's one shot away from offing herself.
I'm
My
telling
daughter
you,
that played Division I golf, I'm one
yeah,
shot away from offing myself.
golf is a cruel sport too. Like the bounces of the ball and all the things that can happen to you. It's a cruel sport, but I just can't imagine life without golf in my life.
So, do you find that a lot of basketball players are, we know Steph Curry's like scratch, right? And then are there a lot of players that, after they retire or that are playing that are golfing that you know of?
Well, look, I mean, like, when you finish playing and you've got to find something else to compete in, because that's one of the things that you kind of get addicted to when you're a professional athlete is you get addicted to competing,
Hmm.
and you want to be the best and you want to beat the best. And so you got to find that next thing that allows you to compete at kind of that same level, to find that high of victory, of winning. And so it might be your club championship, playing in your member guest, playing in the club championship, like playing in a match against friends. I mean, it could be just as simple as I played today with our friend Tom Tolbert, who's in town from San Francisco. We played here at my home course here in Minnesota. We just had a friendly game, and I just beat him, and I had so much fun beating Tom Tolbert. It was great. I got a little bit of a joy. So yeah, so I mean, like it's just fantastic. It's a way to compete and not get hurt. That's what I'm.
Exactly. Well, and you know what's another great thing, because I know you do this when you're traveling around with the Timberwolves. On your off days or when you have time, you'll go golf in all these different courses. I mean, how much fun is that for you that you have the ability, to go golf in all these different clubs and with different people? So that must be really a lot of fun for you.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's also a form of exercise. I carry my bag. I walk the course. It's beautiful. It's camaraderie. It's being able to get out into the sunshine and enjoy nature. It's so many things all wrapped into one, and there's just nothing like striking a golf ball perfectly and having it go in the direction you want it to go in, and having it go the distance you want to, the direction you want to, and there's really nothing quite like it. It's just so singularly. It's one of those sports too. I always tell young kids, like, I put a golf club in my son's hand when he was 4 years old, and he is a really good player right now, and he's never going to lose it. He's going to be a good player till the day he dies.
He was an
And
incredible junior golfer, your
yeah,
son.
he's a great junior golfer, but so are your kids. Like your kids, so Mitchell, your ex-husband, Mitch Friedman, gave your kids the gift of golf. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give a kid, because it's a game you can play for your whole life. And when you're good at
It's
it,
true.
you get asked to play a lot with friends. And so it's one of those things I tell women all the time. Get your daughters to play golf. Get your boys to play golf. Get the golf club in their hand, because it's a social sport that can do so much for them. From a success standpoint, Christina, I think that your kids, when they get older, when Nick gets older, when Ben gets older, when they realize what this game is going to do for them in business, professionally, it's
Oh, it's
super,
huge.
it's
It's
super, it's
monumental. It,
huge. It's huge.
it opens a lot of doors, that's for
I,
sure.
I just like, women don't underestimate what this game can do for your kids. And for the girls too, like even more so for the girls, because actually, one of the most underutilized college scholarships is the women's golf scholarship. They're giving them out, and if your girl can compete, she can get some school for free. And so
Oh,
I think it's super important.
we are going to be right back with Jim Petersen. I'm Christina Flack, and I'm too busy. Are you?
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Welcome back to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flack, and we are with Jim Petersen. So I have more questions for you. What is the significance of number 43? Because that was your number on all 3 of your NBA teams.
Yeah. Well, so when I was a kid growing up, sports are obviously very impactful for young kids. And so my hero growing up was you mentioned Klay Thompson earlier. So Klay's dad, Michael Thompson, played at the University of Minnesota, where I'm from. And so I grew up watching Michael play at the University of Minnesota, and he was this 6'10" powerhouse from Nassau in the Bahamas. And if I showed you a picture of Michael when he played at the U of M, he's this 6'10" dude that used to play in puka shells, and he used to have tassels on his shoes. So Klay's dad was one of the coolest dudes that you'd ever see in your entire life. Like he was so great. He's the greatest player in Minnesota Gopher history.
Wow.
And he was the first pick of the draft in 1978. And so he was my hero. He wore number 43 at Minnesota. And so they retired his number, so I couldn't wear it when I played there. I wore number 20. But when I got to the NBA, I wore number 43 because Michael Thompson was my guy. And that's Klay's
I love that.
That's Klay's dad.
I thought I knew everything about you. So these are new things I'm even learning.
Yeah. And the great thing about it though, too, is that, all these heroes that I had when I was growing up, I mean, I'm like friends with Michael Thompson's my friend. Like I really consider him kind of a brother because I ended up playing at the University of Minnesota with his actual brother, Andy Thompson, was my teammate at Minnesota. And so between Andy and Michael, I mean, those guys are like literal brothers to me. Me and my wife, Tika, we still call Michael. And, Michael calls games now for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's the radio analyst for the Lakers. And I still see him all the time. And it's just really wonderful to be able to call your hero your friend and brother.
I bet. Well, and it's also so cool that you're still able to see these friends while you're traveling around and you're still, in the basketball world. So that's really a cool thing. So if you could put together a team with today's players and past players, who would be on your dream team?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I have to have Michael Jordan on my team, of course, and Larry and Magic. I mean, like those 3. I mean,
Okay.
the funny thing is, Christina, when I retired from the NBA in 1992, and we saw like an uptick in like really everything. We really owe Magic Johnson and Larry Bird a debt of gratitude because it was those two that kind of transformed the league into what it is now. Obviously, Julius Erving and Bill Russell and the great Celtic teams. There were other guys that played in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that helped build the NBA to what it is. But it was Magic and Larry that really transformed the league, and then Jordan brought it into a whole nother era. And obviously, the Kobe Bryants of the world. But so I mean, I got to put those three in there. Like those three are my guys. And then you know what? I got to put Hakeem Olajuwon in there as well. Like he to me is one of the greatest of all time. And you know, the fifth one is it's just so difficult to rank these players because you have to really take players by era. And I hate trying to pick and choose between who's the greatest of all time, but I got to put LeBron in there as well. Like because I just think that he's, from a fan standpoint, like I've been broadcasting games in the NBA since 1998, and LeBron came in 2003 or whatever. Um, and this dude has been must see. I tell people all the time, if you haven't seen LeBron James play in person, please go to a game and go see this dude. He is a physical presence. Even still at 40 years of age, this guy is just this incredible athlete. So I don't think anybody could ever beat that team. That between Jordan, Bird, Magic, LeBron, Olajuwon, that five, I'll stick with that five till the day I die.
Okay. Where's your happy
Well,
place?
and so Victor Wembanyama might change my mind, Christine.
Oh, he might be like on your bench for now. We'll put him
Yes,
there.
yes.
So where's your happy place?
You know what? My happy place is wherever my wife is.
Good answer. She's probably one of my happy places too. She
She's
is.
My wife is a really special woman. We have fun together. I can't imagine life without her. I'm so glad I said yes to that experience.
I am
And
too.
yeah,
I love having her as one of our relatives.
I know. I'm just really lucky, and so it's been cultivated. First of all, me waiting for the right woman at the right time for me, and saying yes at the right time because it's been. I've just been so blessed to be able to have these great job opportunities, to be able to. I feel like I've never worked a day in my life, even though I've grinded and worked very hard at what I've gotten. I feel like I've not really worked a day in my life, and to have the wife that I have, I just feel really blessed. Yeah.
I love that she's able to travel with you sometimes when you go to different places. I think that really keeps your relationship really solid because you're not away from each other for long periods of time, and you also get to spend, time together in all these wonderful cities. Do you guys have any trips coming up? Because you guys are always traveling, going amazing places. Is there anywhere special that you have on your bucket list or that you've been to lately?
Well, we're trying to get to Portugal. Here we've taken all these great trips the last few summers. We always kind of take one big one. We went to Italy a couple of years ago. We went to Croatia last year. I highly suggest going to Croatia. We're trying to go to Portugal before the NBA season starts. And then you're right. I mean, I bring Tika. She ain't going to just any NBA city. She is going
Oh
to be
no.
going.
Oh yeah. She's
She's
got
going
rules.
to anyone. She's not going to Detroit. She's not going to Indiana. She's not going to
No,
Charlotte.
girlfriend's going to Miami. She'll go to LA, San
Yeah,
Francisco,
yeah, the
New
Bay Area.
York.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she picks and chooses, but you know what though? I wouldn't have it any other way. She's part of our TV crew. Tika Pete is fantastic, and you know what? We adore you, Christina, and I'm so grateful that you had me on your show. And
Thank
it's just
you.
lovely, to see you, baby.
I love you so much. I can't thank you enough. I have one last question. How would you like to be remembered?
Oh man. I just want to be remembered as just someone who's been kind and who's been always tried to do the right thing, who worked hard And I don't know, just who was a good person. I just want to be known as a good person, because that's all I've ever tried to be in my life. That's the way my parents always kind of taught me, is to work hard and be kind to others, and get along with people. And that's always what I've tried to do. And I think I've done a pretty good job up to this point.
I can't agree more. You are one of my favorite humans. We all love you so much. I can't thank you enough for being on I'm Too Busy today. And I know you are so busy, so I am incredibly grateful. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you next week. I'm Christina Flack, and I'm Too Busy.
This has been I'm Too Busy with host Christina Flack. Tune in each week as Christina approaches the concept of success holistically, recognizing that achievement is not solely measured by financial triumphs, but also by maintaining a healthy work-life balance and focusing on self-care. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.